I shake. So I told you guys that I want to start giving y'all some of the tea from my childhood and how I grew up. My lifestyle was extremely interesting. Between breaking in houses, selling drugs, all that good stuff. So tonight what I'm gonna give you is, I got a video dealing with the fight with Applehead. Tonight what I want to talk about is selling drugs at 11 years old, selling drugs, selling birds, keys to the Colombians at the age of 11 years old. So when I was young, it was cool. It was the thing in New Orleans where the older guys would take kids, right? They take these kids and have these kids selling drugs for them. So there's a big drug dealer, one of the biggest drug dealers in the city. Let's make a name up for him. Let's call him Neo. Let's call him Smith, like Smith on the Matrix, right? So Smith had me selling drugs for him. I didn't realize I was selling drugs for Smith because I was so young, right? So what happened was Smith would give me a book bag with 2-3 bricks in it, right? I take the book bags, I take the luggage bags, and Smith would say, take this book sack or take this suitcase on Jackson Avenue, which was like 2 or 3 blocks outside of St. Thomas Project. I grew up in the St. Thomas Project. So I did this for like 2.5 years. He said, never look inside of it. Just go to the place I tell you to go at. You're gonna meet some guys, and these guys gonna give you a bag, bring that bag back to me. So for a long time, I would take this heavy bag that he would give me. I'll pull up on these Spanish guys, these Colombian guys, pull up on these different guys and give them the bag, and they would give me a brown bag, which was wrapped up, had tape on it, where the brown bag was heavy too. Well, as I started to get older, I started to realize that this guy got me selling drugs for him. A lot of drugs, because I was moving like 3, 4, 5 suitcases a day. So I would take all this stuff, bring it to the guys outside the project, but it was weird because he said, go and you'll see this black car, an Onyx banging her. I dropped that bag on that Onyx. He said, go to this green car, give them the suitcase. Go to this green car, give them the book sack. I was riding a bicycle. Go to this yellow car, they're gonna give you a bag. So I transferred all this coke for this guy for about 2.5 years, 3 years. Now keep in mind, I'm 9, 10 years old. So when I would give him the brown bag, he would give me $200. And this is the 80s, so $200 was a lot. You know what I'm saying? Pre-Katrina, New Orleans was cheap to live in. I give him the brown paper bag, he gave me $300. So it started to condition me, because you gotta realize when I came up, all my friends were drug dealers, all my friends was the biggest drug dealers in Louisiana. So I come up under a situation like that. I was mentally getting conditioned to sell drugs. By the time I found out that this guy had me selling so much drugs for him, it had got to a point where he ended up getting, something happened with this guy, he ended up passing. I'm not gonna say too much because I ain't trying to let y'all put the stories in together. So something happened with this guy, he ended up passing. And now that I think about it, if this guy had never passed, I probably would have been one of the biggest drug dealers in Louisiana, because you gotta realize I'm a product of my environment. I was conditioned to sell drugs. I was conditioned to be a drug dealer, because my family produced some gangster men. My family produced, I got one of the biggest families in the state. So this guy was conditioning me as a child to sell these drugs. And by the time I found out I was selling drugs for him, mentally, I had lost the fear. Because at that time, most of my friends was going to juvie. Most of my friends was in jail. Most of my friends was hustling already. It's just that the guy was conditioning me under the table to make me a drug dealer. And I think about it now that I'm older, and I was like, man, if this guy still was around right now, my life would have definitely took another turn. I mean, a product of your environment. That's serious. There's only so much I can say on my video, because I want my family members to come back and be like, he on YouTube talking about this, he on YouTube talking about that. No, I'm speaking as mundane as I can. I'll never drop no names. Most of the stuff I'm talking about can't be brought back up, and the stuff that can be brought back up, I won't bring back up. But I'm speaking about my childhood, about my life. And that's the story, once again, about me selling drugs to the Colombians, Cubans, Mexicans, these guys. Now that I'm older and I look back, I was like, bro, I could have got kidnapped. What if one of those gangs had decided to keep the drugs and keep the money and kidnap me or hold me for ransom? I was too young to think about it back then, but now I look at it and it was very foolish of me, but I was a kid and I didn't know. So I'm gonna come back at y'all. I got a lot of stories I want to talk about running from the police. I ran from the police so much. I'm gonna talk about, maybe the next video I want to deal with that time when I got when the police hemmed up me and my homeboys and said we gonna lie on y'all and fuck up y'all records. So I'm gonna deal with that on the next video. Thanks for joining the page. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I got my spiritual teaching. I'm the best at teaching the spiritual shit in the United States. I got these badass fishing videos, and now I'm about to start dealing with the lifestyle. You gotta keep in mind, I was on YouTube before YouTube even blew. I have videos on YouTube, and the first year YouTube started, I got videos on YouTube. So I've been running this YouTube platform. This ain't nothing new to me. I ain't got nothing to sell. I say.